You're listening to Espresso Jams, short, concentrated, delicious conversations about business, technology, and entrepreneurship. If you're just starting out on your business adventure or you're a seasoned business professional, I'm sure you'll find value in these short conversations. Espresso Jams is brought to you by Apexible, providing the tools, insights, and transformative structures to help you reach your business summit. I'm your host, Joe Matz. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Espresso Jams, short, concentrated, delicious conversations. Today, I have the honor of speaking with Master Prosperity Coach Joel Salomon. Joel Salomon used to be a hedge fund manager, and then he got into being a prosperity coach and helping people get okay with money and making more money. And he's an author of 3 best-selling books. One we're going to be talking about specifically today. It talks about the 9 money rules. And Joel, welcome to the show today.
Joe, thanks so much for having me. It's really a great pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And I know we have some exciting news to bring out to the audience today. But let's talk about how it is that Joel Salomon goes from being a hedge fund manager into being a prosperity coach.
Yeah, it's a great question, Joe. And if you had asked me 25 years ago, Joel, what's your dream job? I would have told you money manager, managing other people's money, helping them become financially free. And I did achieve that dream. First at Citigroup, where I managed about $700 million at the peak and made money in both 2008 and 2009, when you may remember in 2008, the stock market was down 40%. The stocks I was managing, financial stocks, were down 57%. We managed to be up slightly, which my former colleagues tell me that's my claim to fame, being up in 2008. And we made more money in 2009, but there was a law that was passed that said banks can't own hedge funds. And so we were all laid off, which actually gave me the kick in the butt to start my own fund. So I started my own hedge fund in 2012, and I did it for about 4 years. And the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now is I went to a personal development course in December 2015, mainly because I wanted to make sure my hedge fund was a long-term viable entity. And 2 things happened at that conference that changed my life. The first thing was that they had a guest speaker speaking for about an hour. It was a 3.5-day conference. And they had a guest speaker for an hour speaking about stocks and stock options. And when he started speaking about stock options in particular, he made it sound like this is the way to get rich. You don't need much time. You don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich. And the options are essentially riskless. I was sick to my stomach.
Wow.
There were 200. Yeah. There were 200 people in the room. They knew me because it was day 2 of the conference. They were tapping me on the shoulder. Joel, does this make sense? So after he was done, we went out of the auditorium and I said, please don't do this. He has no idea about your earnings or cash flow or tax status or risk tolerance. And most importantly, he has no idea about your belief system around stocks and stock options. Now, the second thing that happened at that course was we were given a wooden board 2 inches thick. And we were told we were going to break it with our bare hand. Joe, I don't know if you've done this, but there was a lot of fear in the room. We were given instructions for literally 45 minutes. And we were instructed that we were going to have half the room be holders of the board and the other half be the breakers. And the exercise was called Obstacles or Illusions. Obstacles or illusions. And on one side of the board, we had to write our biggest obstacle. And on the other side of the board, we had to write our ultimate goal. So I wrote as my biggest obstacle, raising enough money for my hedge fund for it to be a long-term viable entity. My ultimate goal took a while for me to conceive of. And then it hit me. Making everybody in this room financially free. Making everybody in this room financially free. And I broke that board like everyone else did. And went home that night and I couldn't sleep. 3, 4 in the morning, the board was staring back at me. Actually, half the board. Making everybody in this room financially free. And then that guy was in my head. And I realized if I could ever get up the courage to speak in front of 200 people, I would be authentic and I would tell them the truth about money. Because some may say he was misleading and some may say he was lying to these people. So I literally went into my office that early morning, Midtown Manhattan, 54th and 6th Avenue, and I sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down my fund. I figured out my true purpose to help people become financially free. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Wow, that was I would assume not what you were expecting to get from that conference.
No, that was not what I was expecting at all. But sometimes, I say everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
And you can't plan your life. If you had told me, December 2015, I'd be sitting here as a prosperity coach, I would have said, there's no way.
Right.
But
Right. Well, okay. So define for me and our audience what a prosperity coach is. Because
it's a great question, because I help people become financially free in general. But there are many ways to do that.
Okay.
Right. And so people will come to me and say, I need to get out of this dead end job. I know I should be doing something different. I'm not doing my purpose. But I don't believe that I can do my purpose and be prosperous at the same time, because I want to be an artist, and everyone knows you're starving if you're an artist. But that's just a limiting belief, because I know thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of artists, quote unquote, musicians, actors, who are making way more than they need to make. So the starving artist is just a limiting belief, just like you need to work hard to be rich and successful. So one thing I do is I help people get to their dream job. And I've done it. I have a couple of success stories already. So that's one thing. Another is to teach people how to generate passive income. Passive income means where you're not actively working for it. It's not your job. Passive income could be making money through the stock market or through real estate or through cryptocurrency, or maybe even writing a book that becomes a bestseller and you're getting checks every month in the mail, or not in the mail, into your checking account, direct deposited by Amazon every month.
Well, I think that kind of money is good money. And I think a lot of people are interested in that kind of money. What I've heard it described as is mailbox money. You've done the work one time, and there's a recurring income stream from that work.
Absolutely. So I created a membership in 2021. And that membership, I recorded videos to teach people how to go from wherever they are right now to financial freedom as quickly as possible. And now it's not 100% passive, because I do support people twice a month through Quest Q&A on a Facebook Live. But it's mostly passive. I've recorded these 6-7 hours worth of videos. We have guests that are adding videos to the membership, but it's, call it 1 to 2 hours a month. And, it's generating thousands of dollars a month.
Okay. So it's not 100% passive, but that's pretty good money for a few hours a month. And you're providing obviously great value to the members, or you wouldn't have the members anymore. They'd leave. Exactly. Right.
Exactly. So what I say is passive or near passive, right? You're doing something small or doing, if it's a few hours of work a month or zero, To me, that's passive. So like you could have an Amazon or eBay, or there's different sites now, fulfillment businesses, right?
Right,
Where
right,
you're selling things wholesale, and that may take a few hours a month, but that's almost passive.
right. Well,
There's ways.
I like what you said. Did you say neo-passive?
No, near
Near
passive.
passive. Near
Near
passive.
passive.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. I like
Yeah.
that.
So there's
Yeah,
like, I mean, and so I help people to create these passive income streams. And, a membership is one, a video program is another,
sure.
writing a book, there's 1,000 different ways. People come to me and say, I was taught you need to work hard, blood, sweat, and tears. All the really great mentors, well-known mentors around this world say you have to work really hard to be rich and successful. And I will tell you that's just a limiting belief. I will tell you I made in 2008, when I was working at Citi, the first year I got paid for my performance, I probably worked 70, 75 hours a week. I barely got a bonus. I was like, I had great performance compared to the index, but I barely got a bonus. And my dollars per hour was quite low. And in 2009, late 2008, I realized that I was killing myself, that I probably wouldn't be alive to see my daughters reach teenage years if I continued like this. And so I changed my mindset. So I said, I'm going to work smarter, be more productive, be present with my daughters when I have them. I got divorced in December 2007, and I wasn't present with them in 2008. But I changed my mindset and decided I was going to work less and be more productive. I worked, most people say this is still a lot of hours. I worked 50 hours instead of 75.
Well, that's a big difference when you're coming from
33% less.
Sure.
And I made multiples of what I did in 2008 and in any other year of my life in 2009. And that was because I changed my mindset. And a lot of those changes are in my second book, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, because I realized that it's not about the blood, sweat, and tears. It's not about working hard. It's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
And one of the rules I talk about is, can happiness buy you money? Not can money buy you happiness. Can happiness buy you money? And I truly believe
that's switching it up a little bit. Yeah,
exactly.
Interesting.
So I realized, because there was a day that I was really unhappy. And I realized I was unhappy more than half the time, because whenever I lost money, I was sad. And then whenever I made money, I was happy. And I wasn't the best money manager in the world. And the best are making money 60% of the time. I was probably making money less than 50% of the time. So I was sad more than half the time. And that is called conditional happiness, where your outside world creates your happiness. And I'm pretty sure most of the world lives that way. But it hit me, with a big, plywood over my head when I realized this, that, wow, I can create my own happiness.
Sure.
There was a day where I was going to lose a lot of money. It was going to be the worst day of my career. And I put on some songs, uplifting songs. And then I started writing down things, because I knew like that day was going to, it was going to be really, really bad. I was losing a lot of money from my investors, and I felt terrible. I felt sick. And so I said, you know what can I do? What can I do to be unconditionally happy? Listening to some uplifting songs. I could play some games with my daughters. I could go for a jog. I could meditate. I could visualize being in a better state. I could daydream on purpose. Right. So I put together a list. I could write down some things I'm grateful for, which is rule number 5 in the 9 money rules, gratitude. And so I put together a list of what I call happy habits that I go to when I'm not feeling great. What can I do? Exercise. For some people, it might be playing with their animals, their dog or their cat. That changes up their vibration, their feeling.
Right.
So
Sure.
Write down some happy habits that you can do so that you can be unconditionally happy, so that you can be happy independent of what's going on in the world around you. Somebody screams at you, you don't have to get upset.
Right.
You can
Right.
continue to be happy.
You can control your own reactions. And you remind
Absolutely.
me of when I was young, I knew a person I was very close to, and she used to get all excited when the weather was good. Oh, the sun's out, it's a happy day, everything's so great. But when there were clouds and rain, she was all depressed. Oh, it's a soggy day, it's terrible, it's all wet. And I figured she had half the formula correct. And I figured I would be happy no matter what the weather brings. And I use that as a tone setter today. It doesn't matter what the weather's like outside or what the financial situation is or how someone reacts to me. My reaction can be a chosen reaction. My emotional response can be a chosen emotional response. And I choose to be positive and I choose to be happy. And I think the world would be a whole lot better place if people made those conscious decisions to be
Absolutely.
happy,
So I'm
to be
what I'm
positive.
really excited about is uh, we've come up with a course
Oh
with
yes,
a
this is the one beginning in February, right?
yes,
Yes,
exactly. So
let's
I'm
talk
really
about that.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because what I'm co-facilitating with this mystical, magical meditation teacher, Chara Rodriguez. She's world known for her channeling, her meditation capabilities. She's also a best-selling author of 2 poem books. And so I'm really excited that I'm honored that she's working with me on this course called Infinite Peace and Prosperity. And what we've done is each week I go through one of the 9 money rules.
Hmm.
And before we do that, she does a meditation, she does a guided meditation for the participants and get them to a state to actually take in the rule, be in a better state, an accepting state, an alignment state, so that we can go through each of the 9 money rules. And she does a meditation or centering based on the rule. So, we rule number 1 is when you believe, right? What's your belief system? Do you believe you need to work hard to be rich and successful? Do you believe you can't be rich and spiritual? Do you,
There's
what's
a
your
whole, I
belief
guess
system
there's a whole
around
lot
money?
of beliefs that we have about money, and
Yes.
they're not all correct, right? They're
No,
not all right,
no. I mean,
and we can
so
change those.
absolutely. So we go through those, and because you don't have to know all of them, right? You don't have to know all your unconscious beliefs about money. But I know I was taught growing up, we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's too expensive.
Mm.
Now, I used to get screamed at by my dad if I left the light on in my room. We left the house. Joel, we're not a shareholder of Long Island Lighting Company. Shut that light off. So that didn't serve me, and it didn't
Right.
serve you either, and it didn't serve your listeners, right? It like those beliefs are limited scarcity beliefs, and I will tell you, scarcity is a lie. Now, it may be hard to know that in your heart of hearts if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe you just got laid off. But I will tell you, there's more than enough to go around. There's $450 trillion of net worth on this earth.
Mm.
450 trillion. And that's up from 1 trillion just over 100 years ago. We've created almost $450 trillion in over 100 years on this earth. And we didn't chip it in from Mars, right?
That's right.
This net worth came from us, from
Hmm.
humans, from our
Absolutely.
ideas. And so there's a huge amount of abundance on this earth available. I say affirmations every morning. There's massive wealth and abundance on this earth available for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this course is beginning in February, is that correct?
Yeah, it's February. So February 8th, we start. It's a 10-week course.
Okay.
It's $888 for 10 weeks. And there's a lot of bonuses. So first of all, we have guest experts coming on. I can't name all of them off the top of my head, but we have We have experts in different areas like marketing, like healthy living, like angel healing. So there's all these different experts that will come on as well. So it's not just myself and Chara, but you get access to other experts, which they'll come on for 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes each week, and introduce themselves and give you a nice, exciting tip or multiple tips from their point of view on abundance and prosperity. So you
Okay.
have that.
And
And then you also get one free coaching, both for myself, and Chara gives you a meditation and a yoga session. So
okay.
there's a lot of bonuses that, and then there's other stuff as well. We have a retreat at the back end of the course that anyone who signs up, we're doing a retreat in general, but if you sign up for the course, you'll get 25% off that retreat as well. So a lot of benefits and bonuses, but basically the idea is to take you through a change in your mindset. So most people believe that it's hard work and it's not easy to get rich and to be successful. And what we do is we work on all the 9 money rules so that you're in a place so that you can have a plan. You can't come out with a financial freedom plan, a vision for your future, and techniques, way more techniques than you need, right? It's, we provide a lot of different techniques over the 10 weeks, and you don't have to use all of them. Like I say, pick and choose what works for you.
Sure.
This shouldn't be work. It should be fun, right? You should want to do a gratitude journal because, it's fun. I do my gratitude journal and think about 5 things I'm grateful for every morning and every night. And it's fun to think about, okay, I'm grateful for Joe Matz today, right? I'm grateful for this podcast and him and the honor of being here. So, what can you be grateful for? What happy habits can you create? Just make it all fun. I say, if you shift your thoughts about money from worry and scarcity to eagerness and fun,
Yes.
then, and you're grateful
Absolutely.
for what you have now. If you can be grateful for what you have now, or be great, and think about if you could be grateful all day, every day, or happy all day, every day, then you create more and more things to be grateful for and happy about in your life.
Yeah. So we are going to have a link to more information about this course and how to get in touch with Joel and how to learn more about Joel and his business and how he can help you make more money, be happier. And those will be in the show notes or in the comments, depending on which format and which social media platform you might be listening to this on. Joel, if we were to want to give our listeners a big takeaway today, in 30 or 40 seconds, what would be that big takeaway for our listeners?
So my big takeaway in my life is doubt the doubt. Hashtag doubt the doubt. Most people have faith in their doubt as opposed to faith in their dreams. So you get some doubt and you start going down this route, this rabbit hole. Doubt your doubt. Have faith in your dreams and desires. And you can change your life just by changing your thoughts. So I know in my life, I had a lot of doubt when I was working as an actuary, and people said to me, I said to them, I want to be a money manager. They said, Joel, come on, you don't have any degrees in finance. You don't have any experience. There's no way you can ever be a money manager. So I doubted the doubt. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but I did.
You're already doing
it. It took me a while. It took me 15 years, but I got there.
Wow. Yeah.
So you can get there. You can get to your dreams a lot quicker than I can by learning from my past mistakes.
That's very good. Okay. And how would people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Yeah, feel free to email me. It's Joel at Salomon. So my company name is named after my daughters. You see in back of me, Lauren and Morgan. So it's SALAURMOR.com. My website is salomon.com. And if you're interested in signing up for Infinite Peace and Prosperity, it's www.salomon.com/IPP for Infinite Peace and Prosperity.
Aha, excellent, excellent. Very good. Well, thank you, Joel. It has been a pleasure to have you on the show and inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great stuff.
True honor. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you, Joe. Thanks so much for having me.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Espresso Jams. If you like what you heard, please subscribe on your preferred channel and never miss another episode. If you'd like more business tips on technology, entrepreneurship, and doing better, you can find me on LinkedIn at Joe Matz, that's Joematz, or go to my website, apexable.com. That's apex-able.com. I'm your host, Joe Matz, wishing you an awesome day.